GED and HiSET Math Prep. Yes, you can. Question number 1. What is the least number in the following list? We have a 3.01, 3.1, 3.101, and the 3.001. So here we want to find a small number. Feel free to pause the video, challenge your skill before you continue. But to solve this question, rewrite each number here with the same amount of digits after the decimal. So we're going to write 3.01 as a 3.010. Okay, 3.1 as 3.100. So the 3.101 will stay the same. And the last one also stay the same. So when you have the same amount of digit, that will be simple to compare to see which one is the smaller. Okay, so each number here has 33333, so we can forget about this 333. So the comparison will focus on the digits after the decimal. So in terms of amount, here if we focus on the 0, 10, this is like a 10. If we focus on this, it's like 100. The next one is 101. The next one is just 1. So therefore, the small number here, the smallest is 1, which is 3.001. So D. The next question, again, feel free to pause the video to solve it before you continue. This is exponential. Okay, so to solve it, understand that we have here numbers, we have a X, we have a Y, we have a Z. So we'll multiply numbers together and the same variables also together. Therefore, we're going to have a 5 multiplied by 1 over 10 multiplied by negative 2 over 3. And we're going to get negative 10 over 30. Understand that the 5 here is like a 5 over 1. And because it's a fraction, every time you have multiplication between fractions, you multiply the numerators of the fractions together. The numerators are the number on top. And the denominator also will be multiplied together. So that's why we get negative 10 over 30. Now we're going to reduce it. And if you reduce this, you get negative 1 over 3. So you understand that negative 10 is same as negative 1 multiplied by 10. And the 30 is same as 3 multiplied by 10. So therefore, we can cancel out 10 to get negative 1 over 3. If we continue, now we have an x8. We're going to multiply this by x. And we're going to get x raised to the 9th power. Understand that x alone has invisible 1 as a power. So add 8 to 1 to get 9. So every time you multiply expression with the same base, we call x here, base. So we add the exponent. Okay, you continue. This time we're going to take a y and we multiply by the other y with 2 as a power. Now this will be y3. And again, the first y has invisible 1. So 1 plus 2, 3. And we continue. The next one is going to be z. So we have a z multiplied by another z with a second power. So this gives you z to the 3rd power. Again, we add 1 to 3. So we see that we have a negative 1 over 3. We have a x to the 9th power. We have a y3. We have a z3. So if we put everything together, it's going to be this negative 1 over 3. Okay. X 9 y3, z3. And if you see all the four choices, only the last one is that. So the correct choice is D. We continue. Question number 3. So this question number 3, they say no calculator because it's something we can do without a calculator. So they say -3 raised to the second power. It's going to be a mistake if you choose a -6 because -3 raised to the second power is not a -6. It's going to be again a mistake if you choose a 6. Okay, it's going to be a mistake if you choose 9. But the correct choice has to be -9. Let's understand. When you have a -3 to the second power, this means -1 multiplied by 3 to the second power. The negative is not raised to the second power, only the 3 is raised to the second power. So this means you're going to have a -1 multiplied by 3 multiplied again by 3. So 3 to the second power is 3 multiplied by 3. It's not 3 multiplied by 2, but it's 3 multiplied by 3. So you multiply 3 by itself and you repeat this 2 times. That means what? If I have a 3 to the fourth power, I will do 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3. So I repeat this 4 times. That's the meaning of exponent. Okay. Now, you'll see that the answer here will be what? -1 multiplied by 9, which is -9. Therefore, the correct choice is C. Now, in case you have -3 like this to the second power, in that case, that means you're going to take a -3, you multiply by the same -3 to get +9. So this is not the case here, but in case you have the negative number in a parenthesis before the raised to the second power, that means you take that negative number, you multiply by itself. Okay, so this is a simple question, but tricky. The next question, question number 4. A rectangular prism has a volume of 8x cubed plus 14x squared plus x minus 2 and a height of 2x plus 1. Which expression represents the area of the base of the prism? Okay, here this is the volume, right? And it's a volume of a rectangular prism. And they say the height is this. Okay, the volume is this one, the height is that. And then we want to find the base. Understand that the formula is the formula here. Okay, the formula for, so this side, this one here, the formula for that volume is B multiplied by H, which is the height. Now, if you go back to the question, they give you the volume in terms of expression, but it's fine because what we need here is the concept. The concept is that to find the volume, we need the base multiplied by the height. So if I take H, I multiply this H by the base, I get the volume. That's the concept. Now in the question, they give you the volume. They also give you the height. And now we want to find the base in terms of your expression with x. Okay, now, one way to solve this question is to take the height, which is 2x plus 1. We're going to multiply that height by the base. We are looking for the base, but they give you 4 different answers. So we're going to take one by one to multiply to see which one will give us the volume. So we're going to multiply by 4x squared plus 5x minus 2. So this is the height, 2x plus 1. I will multiply this by one of the bases. If I get the same volume, which is 8x cubed plus 14x squared plus x minus 2, therefore I will say, oh, the correct base is A. In case I don't get the same volume, I need to try with choice B, choice C, or choice D. Now, to save time, let's show you a strategy. You don't need to do this for all of the 4 answers before you get your answer. The thing is this, when you have a 2x plus 1 multiplied by 4x squared plus 5x minus 2, we got something distributive law. So that means you're going to take a 2x, you're going to multiply by 4x squared. You take the same 2x, you multiply by 5x. You take the same 2x, you're going to multiply by negative 2. After that, you're going to take 1, you multiply by 4x squared. You take the same 1, you're going to multiply by 5x. You take the same 1, you're going to multiply by negative 2. And you're going to combine like terms to see which one give you 8x cubed plus 14x squared plus x minus 2. Okay. Now, the thing is, the strategy I will show you is this. If you check the first term here, we have 8x cubed. And that means what? If you multiply 2x, this 2x here, by the 4x squared, you're going to get 8x cubed. Because the 2x, the x has the invisible 1 as a power. Okay, and if you do that for all the 4 choices, here we're going to get 8x cubed, 8x cubed, 8x cubed, 8x cubed. But let's see what's going to happen. If we do the last term here is when I take 1 and I multiply by the negative 2. Yeah, I take 1 and multiply by negative 2. So the last term for the height multiplied by the last term of the base. Okay, so doing that, I'm going to get negative 2. If I take the positive 1 and multiply by negative 2, I will get negative 2. But look what's going to happen. If I take the same 1, but I multiply by the last term of choice B, I will get positive 2, which is not correct because in the volume, the last term has to be negative 2 when you do a multiplication. Okay, if you try that one also for choice C, you take the 1 from the height, multiply by the last term of the base, which is here, positive 4, you're going to get positive 4, which is not correct because the volume is not positive 4 for the last term, the term without the x. If you try for D, same thing, you're going to get a number which is not negative 2. It's going to be positive 5. So therefore, even I didn't do all the multiplication, but I know that B is out, C is out, D is out. The only thing left is A. So A is the correct choice. Otherwise, you need to check one by one, but it's going to be so long. So that's a shortcut you can use to figure out the answer. Okay, let's continue. Question 5. So again, you compose, you try before you see how I solve it. Question 5, they say, according to the graph, about how many hours? How many hours are spent socializing and watching TV a day? A day, when they say a day, that is very, very important. Okay, so the diagram is here. This is a pie chart, and we have many sections. But we'll focus on what? This, watching TV and the socializing. If you see, they say 13% for each one. So because they say socializing and watching TV, we're going to take both. So that means what? We're going to take a 13% plus another 13% to get 26%. Okay. Now, 26% of what? 26% of the total hours in a day. In one day, we have 24 hours. So we're going to multiply this 24 hours by 26%. So we're going to convert 26% in a decimal, which is a 0.26, and we multiply this by 24. If you do the calculation, you get 6 points. So this gives us 6.24. Okay, that means what? 6 hours and 24 minutes. But they say according to the graph, about. So it's like approximately. From the 4 choices, the correct choice is D, 6 hours. Because 6.24 or 6.24 is close to 6 hours. So that's the answer. So you take the percentage, you convert it in decimal, and you multiply by the number of hours we have in a day. Okay, we continue. Question number 6. It's another challenge question. So feel free to pause the video and challenge yourself before you see the solution. They say twice a positive integer squared less 3 is 95. What is the integer? So here we want to find an integer, but they have to be a positive integer. So it's tricky. It's a positive integer here. That means what if they don't say positive integer, okay, we're going to have 2 different answers, one positive, one negative. That's why they try to make a difference there. It has to be a positive integer. They could also say a negative integer. But let's solve the thing. So step by step, they say twice. In math, when they say twice, twice means what? Multiply by 2. Okay. So what is here we're going to multiply by 2? Is this positive integer squared. So we're going to call that integer we don't know yet, the integer, so we call it x. So let x be that positive integer. Okay. Now, let's see what's going to happen. Twice, which means 2, multiply by the thing. So we multiply by 2 twice. Okay. What we're going to multiply here by 2? The positive integer squared. So the integer here is x. So we're going to take x squared. So we are multiplying 2 by x squared. And they say less 3. Less 3 means minus 3. Is 95. In math, when they say is, that means it's equal to. So this sentence, we change it as an equation. And we're going to solve for the variable. This is one way, to do it. But in case you don't know how to set up the equation and to solve, so you have to take the answer one by one to check to see which one works. Okay, so here to solve for x, first of all, we're going to add the 3 on both sides. So we get the 2x squared is equal to 98. Understand that negative 3 and the positive 3 will cancel. The next thing to do is that we'll try to divide both sides by 2. So the reason we are dividing by 2 is to get x squared alone. So therefore, we're going to have x squared is equal to 49. So x squared is equal to 49. That means to find x, we're going to take a square root. But in math, solving quadratic equation, so this is a quadratic equation. You have x squared equals 49. We say x is equal to plus minus square root of 49, which means you're going to be plus minus 7. 49 is a perfect square. 49 came from 7 multiplied by 7. So square root of 49 give you 7. Okay, the reason we use a plus minus is that if you have a negative 7, you multiply by the same negative 7, you get positive 49. Same thing if you have a 7 multiplied by the same 7, you get a 49. So here we have 2 different answers. One is negative, one is positive. The reason in the question they say positive integer. So we are taking the positive side. So here our x will be 7. Okay, now let's check. That means what? They say twice a positive integer squared. That positive integer is a 7. Now, if you square 7, you get 49. Now, twice means you multiply 49 by 2. Okay, if you multiply 49 by 2, you get 98. And now 98 minus 3 give you 95. So that's the way you can check. So the correct choice here is B, which is 7. So the other method is saying that, okay, if you don't want to set up the equation or you don't know how to set up the equation, so take the answer one by one. Take a 5, square 5, multiply by 2, minus 3. Do you get 95? No. If you try with 11, no. You try with 13, no. Only 7 will get you the answer is 95. Therefore, 7 is the correct choice. Let's continue. Question number 7. Which of the following points lies on the line y minus 2 is equal to 3 parentheses x minus 4? So this is the equation of a line. And they give you here 4 different points. They want to know which point is on the line. Understand that when they say point, you have 2 values. So if I take the first one, 4, negative 2, 4 represents the x coordinate of the point, and the negative 2 represents the y coordinate of the point. In the xy coordinate, okay, we can plot a point, and each time we plot a point, we have a 2 coordinates for the point, the x coordinate and the y coordinate. So when they say point here, have to be 2 numbers in a parenthesis. Okay, now to check if the point is on the line, here what we'll do is that we're gonna replace x and the y by the coordinate of the point. So the first point, let's check with the first point, which you have 4, negative 2. We see that x is 4 and the y is negative 2. Therefore, in the equation, when they say y minus 2, so y minus 2 is equal to 3 parentheses x minus 4, to see if the first point is on the line or lies on the line, we're going to replace x here by the y here by the y value, which is negative 2. Okay, minus 2. So this here. We want to see if this is equal to 3 parentheses. The x value is 4 minus 4. So I'm trying to replace x and the y in the equation using the first point coordinate. And we're going to work it out to see if we get the same answer from the left side and the right side. Okay, understand that. Here, when you do negative 2 minus 2, that will turn to negative 4. It's not a positive, but still negative. So you add the 2 negative numbers, the result is negative. It's when we multiply the 2 negative numbers, but that will turn to positive. So here it's just 2 negative numbers we combine, so that gives a negative 4. And we want to see if this is same as 3 parentheses. So based on order of operation, I will try to do 4 minus 4 first. So 4 minus 4 is a 0. Okay, can we say that negative 4 is same as 3 multiplied by 0? 3 multiplied by 0 is a 0. So negative 4 is not 0. Therefore, it is not the correct choice. We're going to check for the second point. Okay, for the second point, same thing, we're going to replace x and the y in the equation. So we say that y minus 2 is equal to 3 parentheses x minus 4. So the y value of b is 2. So we want to do 2 minus 2. It is the same thing as 3 parentheses. The x value of b is 4. 4 minus 4. Let's check. 2 minus 2 is 0. Okay. 3 parentheses. 4 minus 4 is also 0. So can we say that 0 is the same as 3 multiplied by 0, which is 0? Yes. So the correct choice here is B. But to be sure, you can try also for C. but that will not work. You can also try for D. That will not work. So A, C, D, and O. So the correct choice for this question is B. Let's continue. Question number 8. So again, with no calculator. Okay, to solve this question number 8, you have to understand that we're going to use here order of operation. Order of operation. And based on that order of operation, okay, we'll try to do parentheses first. So we're going to use PEMDAS. That's the acronym we use to remember order of operation. So we're going to try to do parentheses P. After parentheses, we're going to do exponent. After that, multiplication, division. Okay, multiplication, division are on the same level, but we'll do it from left to right. Which one comes first? Same thing for addition and subtraction. Okay, so based on that, I will have a 5 minus 2 parentheses. So I will do parentheses. So 3 minus 5 is negative 2. Yes, 3 minus 5 is negative 2. Raised to the third power plus 2 to the second power minus negative 11. Okay, the next thing is to do any exponent. So you're going to have a 5 minus 2. So this negative 2 raised to the third power, negative 2 raised to the third power means take a negative 2, multiply by the same negative 2, and repeat this 3 times. So negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Positive 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. So we're going to have a negative 8 here. Okay, plus 4, because 2 to the second power is 4, okay, minus negative 11. We continue. Now, you have to understand that after exponent, we're going to try to do multiplication. There is no division here, so that's good. For multiplication, we're going to have a 5 plus 16. Why plus 16? Because negative 2 multiplied by negative 8 is positive 16, plus 4 plus 11. Why plus 11? Because again, the negative here multiplied by this negative 11. When you have a negative parenthesis, negative 11, this time that you have negative 1 multiplied by negative 11. That return to positive 11. Okay, now the next thing is to add all these numbers. So look, if you add the 5 to 16, you get 21 plus 4 plus 11. No, 21 plus 11, 21 plus 4 is going to be 25. So this will be 25 plus 11, and that gives you 36. Therefore, the correct choice is D. The next question, question number 9. Which graphs represent the compound inequality? This is a compound inequality. The reason we call this compound inequality is that we have two inequality symbols. Yes, two inequality symbols. Okay, so negative 8 is less than or equal to, that's the way we read the first symbol, is less than or equal to 2x minus 8 is less than 8. So less than is just this, but less than equal to will have that little bar underneath. Okay, also understand that when they use less than equal to, which is the case here, they shade the circle. So they will see that on the 4 graphs here, we have some point shaded. Okay, if it's just less than, you have an open circle, they don't shade. Okay, so there are different methods to solve this question. This question, we have different methods. We can make it as two different inequalities, but it's gonna be so long. But a quick way, a shortcut to solve this is that we'll solve it using the two symbols, but we will solve from inside to outside. That means what? When you have a 2x minus 8, first of all, we're going to add 8. Why are we adding 8? Because here we have a negative 8, so inverse operation. Okay, you understand that because we're going to solve for x, the graph represents the answer from x. So to get this x alone, we need to get rid of the negative 8. And to get rid of the negative 8, we're going to add 8. And because we add the 8 in the middle, to keep this inequality the same, we're going to add the 8 also on the other side. Therefore, we're going to have a 0 is less than or equal to 2x is less than 16. Okay, so this time we don't have 2x minus 8. We only have 2x because we get rid of the negative 8. Now, to get x alone, which is the goal, we're going to divide this by 2. Therefore, we do the same thing to other side. So 0 divided by 2 is a 0. So this is less than or equal to x, and it's less than 8. So this is telling you that x is between 0 and 8. So if it's a number line, okay, you're going to have a 0 somewhere here. You're going to have an 8 somewhere here. So shaded for 0, but open for 8, and we are between this. We are between 0 and 8. That's the way you have to understand. So we are looking for numbers such that 0 will be smaller than that number, and that number is smaller than 8. So any number between the 0 and the 8, will be a solution, but 8 is not a solution. That's why we open the circle there. Therefore, the correct choice here is D. So you see that the shade at 0, the open at 8, and the solution is between. Yeah. So that is, quick way to solve it. But it's also possible to make it as a two different inequality. So the first inequality will be, you take this, you're going to take negative 8 is less than or equal to 2x minus 8. You're going to finish to solve it. After that, you're going to take 2x minus 8 is less than 8. You also solve it, and you're going to combine the two solutions. But it's a long way. Okay, question number 10. For question number 10, this is a geometry question. They say, what is the measure of angle? So this is angle. We call this angle. Okay. So angle BOC. Angle BOC. Angle here. BOC. Okay. So the 5x. But we want it in degrees. So they don't give you the value of x. So you need to figure out the value of x and then do 5 multiplied by that value to get the answer. Okay, so understand that here what we'll do is that we'll try to find x. Okay, if we get x value, we can solve the question properly. For that, we'll try to add 5x to 10x to 9x. So that gives you 24x. Okay, understand that if you add all these angle values in terms of degrees, it has to be 180 degrees. So every time you have a straight line, okay, in terms of degrees, is 180 degrees. Or if you have a right angle, you're gonna be 90 degrees. Okay, so we have 180. Now to solve for x, we're gonna divide both sides by 24. Okay, and the 180 divided by 24 is 7.5. So this is 7.5 is not yet the answer. Therefore, there is no answer as 7.5 in the four answers. But this is the x value. So x is equal to 7.5. Now to find the angle BOC value, we're going to multiply. So we take a 7.5 and we will multiply this by 5. Why by 5? Because the angle here, they say 5x degrees. So doing that, you get 37.5, which is twice B. Okay, let's continue. Question 11. This is a rectangle. So rectangle RSTU. And they say, what is the length of HG? HG is this one here. This is a rectangle, right? And they ask you to find HG. You have to understand that HG is equal to RH. So in a rectangle, understand that the two diagonal meet at the center in the midpoint, the middle of the line segment, the diagonal. So RH is same as HG. Okay, but we don't know RH. Okay, so if you represent this as a square, not a square, but a triangle, yeah, sorry. If you represent this as a triangle, the bottom is 8. This side here is 6. Okay, and we have a H somewhere here. We have a T here. We have a U. We have a R. So I took triangle RUT, okay, or RTU. And I want to find RT. So this is a right triangle because it's a rectangle. So you have a 4 right angle. So I'm taking the right triangle RTU. And this side here, we call it the hypotenuse. So I will try to find that line segment with the diagonal RT, and I will divide it by 2 to find HT. So we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem, which says that A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. So my A here is 6. So C squared plus 8 is B squared equal the hypotenuse is that C, which I don't know yet. Okay, if we continue, what is C squared? Is 36 plus 64 is 8 squared is equal to C squared. If you add 36 plus 64, this is 100 equals C squared. So therefore, C is 10 because a number raised to a second power give you 100 means that number is 10. So C is 10. C is 10 is not yet the answer. That is the diagonal RT. Okay. Now to find HT, which is a half line segment of that diagonal, is to divide C by 2. So we take a 10 divided by 2, you get a 5. Therefore, the correct choice is B. Let's continue. Question 12. This is another trick question. Pause the video. Okay, challenge your skills before you see the solution. So simplify the following expression. Okay, So we have a square root of a 12 plus 3 square root of a 27 plus square root of a 3. To solve this question, you have to understand perfect square. So as a perfect squares, we have a 1, we have a 4, we have a 9, we have 16, 25, 36, 49, and so on. So how we form a perfect square? You take counting number and you multiply by itself. We count from 1, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. So 1 multiplied by 1 gives you 1, 2 multiplied by 2, 4, 3 multiplied by 3, 9, 4 times 4, 16, 5 times 5, 25, and so on. Okay, so if you know perfect square, okay, the way to solve the question here will be simple. Now, when you have a square root of a 12, you're going to break it down. Because 12 is not a perfect square. If a 12 is a perfect square, that will be fine. Because 12 is not a perfect square, so we need to break it down. So square root of a 12 will be square root of a 3 multiplied by 4. So in 12, can we find the perfect square? Multiply by another number to get 12? Yes. 3 multiplied by 4. Plus, we do the same thing for square root of a 27. Can we find the perfect square in this? Multiply by another number, give you 27. It has to be multiplication. And yes, if I take a 3, I multiply by 9, I get 27. Okay, plus square root of a 3. So square root of a 3 will stay like that because 3 is not a perfect square. Now, what is the reason of this square root in the perfect square? So if we take a square root of a perfect square, that go back to the counting number. What I mean? So we know that 4 is a perfect square. If I take a square root of 4, I go back to 2. Because what counting number multiplied by itself give me 4 is 2. Or if I have a square root of a 9, that will be 3. Because what counting number give me 9 as a perfect square when I multiply by itself is 3. Okay, so therefore, we'll say that this 4 here will turn it to a regular 2. When you take a square root of 4, that go back to counting number, so regular 2. But the square root of a 3 stays the same, so that 3 stays inside the square root, plus 3 multiplied by, this is 9 here, if you take a square root, that go to regular 3. But the other 3 stays inside, plus square root of a 3. So this means you have a 2 square root of a 3, plus 9 square root of a 3, plus 1 square root of a 3. Understand that. Square root of a 3 alone means 1 square root of a 3. If you don't put any number there, that means it's 1 square root of a 3. So having square root of a 3 2 times, 9 times, 1 time, together, that give you what? 12 square root of a 3. So you have square root of a 3 2 times, 9 times, 1 time. You add the coefficient. So 2 plus 9 plus 1 is 12. So you have a 12 square root of a 3. Therefore, the correct choice here is C. The next question. Question 13. Which function is best represented by the data in this table? So in the table, they are telling you that when x is 0, the y is 1. When x is 1, the y is 3. When x is 2, the y is 9, and so on. Okay, so we have 4 different functions. So we're going to check here to see which one, verify this condition in the table. So if I take A, for A, we have a f of x equals x to the third power. Understand that this is same as to say y is equal to x to the third power. So f of x is the name of the function, but it's a y. Okay, so if I replace x by 0 in this, can I get 1 for y? Let's check. So can we say that y equals, okay, 0 to the third power? What is 0 to the third power? 0 to the third power means 0 multiplied by 0 multiplied by 0, which is 0. So When x is 0, the y value is 0, which is not the case in the table. So I don't need to check for 1 or for 2 or for whatever. I don't need to check because the first one doesn't work. You have to work for all of this. So therefore, A is out. Let's check for B. For B, we have a 3 to the x power. So this is telling you that if x is 0, we're going to have a 3 to the 0 power. 3 to the 0 power is not a 0. 3 to the 0 power is 1. Understand that any number, okay, raised to 0 power is 1. Any number raised to 0 power is 1. So when x is 0, the y is 1, which is correct. But let's continue to check. If x is 1, what are we going to get? If x is 1, so let's rewrite it. For 0, we have a 3 to the 0 power is 1. For 1, we'll have a 3 to the 1 power, which is 3, which is also correct there. For 2, you're going to have a 3 to the second power, so we are replacing x by 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, you get 9, which is correct. 3, you're going to get 27. That means what? 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3. And the 4, when the x is 4, 3 to the 4th power is 81, because it's going to be 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3. So B is the correct choice. I don't need to verify for C and D. Anyway, it had to be out. Okay. Question 14. This is another question, and the concept is very important to understand. Okay, so for question 14, pause the video, try before you check the answer. But I can tell you that the answer here is C. How? They say which equation is perpendicular, that's the keyword, perpendicular to y equals 8 minus 5 over 6x. So when two lines are perpendicular, okay, the keyword to remember is negative reciprocal of the slope. Negative reciprocal. Negative reciprocal of the slope. Okay, what that means, you're going to find the slope of the given line. And that slope here is negative 5 over 6. They trick you here. Don't think like, oh, the slope is 8. No. The slope is the coefficient of x in the form y equals mx plus b. Okay, we can come back to this in another video. But know that y equals mx plus b, m, we call it the slope. And that m here is the negative 5 over 6. So they write it as y equals b plus mx to confuse you. So the slope is negative 5 over 6, right? Now, negative reciprocal means that we're going to multiply the given slope here by a negative sign. So if you have a negative sign and you multiply this by another negative sign, that will turn to a positive. And the reciprocal here means we flip it over. So the slope will be 6 positive over 5. That's a new slope, or slope of the second line. So what you're going to do here is that you're going to check all the 4 choices to see in which equation you see the slope is positive 6 over 5. Yes, it's this one. Yeah. The slope for A is negative 1 over 8, which is out. The slope for B, negative 5 over 6, also out. The slope for D, negative 6 over 5, also out. Only C has 6 over 5 as the slope. Yeah. Okay, so that is like y equals 6 over 5 x plus 0. So that 0 is the b, or the y-intercept. Question 15. If there are 5 blue marbles, okay, let's underline this, 3 green marbles, and the 2 red marbles in a bag, what is the probability of choosing a red marble? This is a probability question, but it's simple. In total, how many marbles we have in total? So you have to take a 5 plus 3 plus 2, that gives you 10. Okay. Now, they want to choose, right, red marble. Well, how many red marble we have here? We have 2 of them. So the probability to choose a red marble here, that probability, if you call it P, it will be 2, which is how many marble are red, divided by 10. That means the total marbles. So you have a 2 over 10. But 2 over 10 is not the answer here, because we are seeing 15%, 20%, all this blah, blah, blah. Okay, so 2 over 10 is same as 20 over 100. And 20 over 100 means 20%. Therefore, the correct choice is B. Okay, if you don't know that 2 over 10 is 20%, you can do that long division. So you take a 2 divided by 10. Okay, if you do that, you're gonna get 0. Or you can use a calculator, yeah, 0.20. And you multiply this per 100 to convert it in percent. Okay. Question 16. Which of the following equals, okay, 5x squared minus 2x plus 1 minus 3x squared minus 3x minus 2? Again, pause the video, challenge yourself before you continue. So, they are just asking here to do the subtraction between the two polynomials. Therefore, we're going to keep the first polynomial, which is 5x squared minus 2x plus 1. Now, the second polynomial, because of this negative sign here, the 3x squared will change it to negative 3x squared. Again, because of this negative sign here, the negative 3x will turn to positive 3x. Again, because of this negative sign here, the negative 2 will turn to positive 2. So understand that every time you have a negative sign in front of a parenthesis, everything you have inside the parenthesis will change a sign. If it's a positive, that will turn to negative. If it's negative, that will turn to positive. Okay, that's the case here. Now we're going to try to combine like terms. Look, 5x squared and negative 3x squared are like terms. So therefore, we're going to do 5 minus 3, which is 2, and we keep the x squared. Same thing for negative 2x and 3x. So we're going to do negative 2 plus 3, which is 1. Then we keep x. We do this for the last one. 1 plus 2 is 3. And this is same as 2x squared plus x, because 1x is x, plus 3. And now if we check, the correct choice here is C. So the negative sign is very important in this question. The next question, question 17. So this time is a multiplication we're going to do. The previous question was a subtraction, but here is a multiplication. Okay, so we want to multiply 3x minus 5 by x squared minus 6x plus 4. We're going to take it one by one. Remember, one of the question was a volume of a rectangular prism, and we tried to check how we could multiply to find the answer. So here, let's do the multiplication, in a proper way. So we're gonna take a 3x, we multiply by x squared. That give you 3x to the third power. Because the x here has a 1 as a power. So we added that 1 to 2 to get 3. After that, we take the same 3x, we're gonna multiply by negative 6x. It's very important that you multiply the number by a sign. So 3 multiplied by negative 6 is negative 18. Okay, and you have x squared because x multiplied by x squared. We continue. We take the same 3x, we're going to multiply by positive 4. And that give you what? 12x. We continue. This one, we're going to take negative 5, we multiply by x squared. That give you negative 5x squared. We continue. The same negative 5 we multiply by negative 6. Negative multiplied by negative will turn to positive. That will turn to positive 30x. We continue. Negative 5 multiplied by 4 give you negative 20 without x. Okay. The next thing is to combine like terms. So you will see that 3x squared, a 3x cube, 3x cube is alone. So we keep that 3x cube because there is nothing else with x cube. After that, we have 8x squared and negative 5x squared. So if you combine 8x squared and negative 5x squared, you get 3x squared. It's just to do 8 minus 5 to get the 3. You keep it the x squared. After that, we take 12x and the 30x. You combine, you get 42x. After that, we only have negative 20 left. Okay, so this is the solution. If we take all the 4 choices, the correct choice is A. Question 18. Question 18, they say solve 2x squared plus 9x plus 4 equals 0. And they give you 4 different answers. We have a different method we can use here. You can check the solution one by one by plugging. Okay, but because the solution here have fraction, so if you want to plug in, if you don't pay attention, that can give you some error. Okay, another method is that you factor out the expression if it's possible. Another method is to use quadratic formula, which is this one here. So I will try to use a quadratic formula for this question. Okay, that's the thing I see, as another way to learn how to use a quadratic formula. So in this equation, you have to know what is A, B, and C. Okay, so A here is 2, B is 9, C is 4. So all the values here are positive, but in case you have a negative value, you have to take the number with the negative sign. So we're going to use the formula. The formula says negative B. So negative B means I have negative with the B value, which is negative 9. So I'm using the formula on top of here. Plus minus, the plus minus is telling you that you're going to have 2 different solutions. So you're going to use the positive in one solution and the negative in the other solution. Square root of B squared, B is a 9, so I'm going to take a 9, I will square it. Minus 4, AC. AC means take A value, which is 2, multiplied by the C value. Divide by 2A. So 2 multiplied by 2. So the A value is 2. So I use the formula. I replace A, B, and C by their values. Now the next thing to do here is to compute, is to do the calculation. So we're going to have X is equal to negative 9 plus minus square root of 9 squared is 81 minus 4 times 2 times again 4. So we know that 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 4 is 32. Okay, divided by 4. We continue. This is similar to say, okay, negative 9 plus minus square root of, what is 81 minus 32? This will be 49. Okay, divided by 4. Now, let's see what's going to happen. We're going to have two different solutions. So let's use a different slide. So we have negative. We say x equals negative 9 plus minus square root of 49 divided by 4. This will give you two solutions. One solution will be negative 9 plus square root of 49 is what? 7 divided by 4. The other solution will be negative 9 minus 7 divided by 4. So understand that this positive here sign came from this one, and the negative sign here is from this one. Okay, so what is negative 9 plus 7 divided by 4? This is negative 2 divided by 4. Other side, we're going to have negative 16 divided by 4. Okay, so negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4. This one is just negative 4. But here, it's going to be a decimal. But if you see the choices, there's no decimal, but we have a fraction. So that means they reduce it, they simplify, they make it smaller. So negative 2 over 4 give you negative 1 over 2. So what you do here is that you divide 2 by 2. Same time, we divide 4 by 2. So you get negative 1 over 2. So the two solutions are negative 1 over 2, okay, or you have a negative. Okay, so if you see here, negative 1 over 2, negative 4. So it's twice number, letter A. This one, okay, x equals negative 4 or x equals negative 1 over 2. Question 19. For question 19, we have two rectangles. Wow. Okay, so understand that this is one rectangle, and the dimension of what? X plus 3 here. Here we have x, 3x minus 2. So the width is x plus 3, the length 3x minus 2. Inside, we have another rectangle. We have x here, and we have a 6 here. They say determine the value of x given that the area of the shaded region is this one here, okay? The area of the shaded region is 24 square units. So you have to understand that the big rectangle will be the shaded area plus the small rectangle. So if I call it B, the big rectangle will be the shaded area, if I call that shaded area S, plus the small rectangle. Okay, so shaded, let's call it SH, plus the small rectangle. Okay, so what we will do here is that because we know the area of the shaded part, so it's like the big rectangle gonna be 24 plus the small rectangle, the area for the small rectangle, which we don't know yet. But we want to find the value of x. Okay, so what is the area of the big rectangle? We don't know. The area of the small rectangle? We don't know. So we have a different method to use here. We could use the equation, but that will be, too much. So instead, let's use the values and plug in one by one. The solutions, we're gonna check with the solution. That will be simple to, solve instead of using equation. So assume that x is 5, which is the first choice. Assume that x is 5. So if x is 5, the big rectangle will be what? So area of a rectangle is that length multiplied by width. So we replace x by 5 in x plus 3. That gives you 8. We're going to have 8 multiplied by, we replace here x by 5. So we have 15 minus 2, which is 13. So if we do 13 multiplied by 8, so we're going to have 104. So we have 80, 8 multiplied by 10 plus 8 multiplied by 3, 24. Okay, 104. Now, if you do for the small rectangle, you replace x by 5. What is 5 times 6? 30. Okay, but if we do the big rectangle, so 104 minus 30, do we get 24, which is the shaded area? No. So that means A is R, is not the correct choice. If it's the correct choice, we should get 104 minus 30 to get the shaded area, which is not the case here. We try with B, the same thing. Now let's replace x by 3 to check. For the big rectangle, if you replace x by 3, you will see that you're going to have, so the area of that big rectangle will be 6, because 3 plus 3 is 6, multiplied by, you replace 3, x by 3 here, you have 7. Okay, so this is 42. So we take this, we multiply by this, we replace x by 3. Now we're going to do for the small rectangle. So for the small rectangle, you have 6 multiplied by 3, and that gives you 18. Okay, now let's check. If you take the big rectangle, which is 42, okay, minus the small rectangle, which is 18, do we get 24? Yes. Yes. 42 minus 18 is 24. Therefore, the correct choice here is B, which is 3. So another way to re-explain this is that giving you the shaded area, okay, to check the correct choice, take the x value. So replace x by the x value. Do the calculation for the big rectangle. Do the calculation for the small rectangle, and do the difference to see if you get the shaded area, which is 24. Okay, the last question for this video. Okay, remember to subscribe so you can get the next video, and also share this so other people can get the benefit of it. So question 20, find the next term of the following sequence. So in the sequence, we have 1. After that, we have I. After that, we have a -1. After that, we have a negative I. After that, we get 1. After that, we have I. So these are complex numbers. But anyway, if we don't know anything about complex numbers, it's not a big deal. But see how the pattern going. So we have a 1. After 1, we have I. I, -1. -1, negative I. negative I, come back to 1, which is this one here. After 1, you have I, which is this I here. So that means what? The next number will be negative 1. Okay, so the correct choice here is C, negative 1. So understand that overall, practice makes perfect. So feel free to share the video, like the video, and subscribe to get the next video. Thank you.